and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my ranking of Doctor Who Season 25, which is my personal favourite season of Doctor Who. I mean, it might not be the best. I think that might go down to Season 7 or Season 13. But Season 25 is certainly my favourite, my personal favourite of classic series. I think the best season of this show overall, and which is also my favourite season of the show overall, is Season 27, aka Series 1 of the revived series, with Christopher Eccleston. So, yeah, we'll get to that after Season 26 and some special Wilderness Years reviews, and then we'll be on to Series 1. So, okay, Season 25, personal favourite classic season, role. Yeah, I think this is possibly the best of the McCoy seasons as well. I mean, we'll see how 26 goes, actually. But certainly this is my personal favourite. So, let's dive right in and take a look at the 4 stories of the season. We have Remembrance of the Daleks, The Happiness Patrol, Silver Nemesis, and The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And, yeah, I like all of these stories. I think Silver Nemesis is underrated and could have had a little bit more work, but still really good. Happiness Patrol is also very underrated. Pretty brilliant. Great concept. Greatest Show in the Galaxy, bit more popular amongst the fans. Really great. And Remembrance of the fucking awesome Daleks. Second best story of the entire show. Best classic story. Yeah, so let's get down to this ranking. Start, of course, with number 4. Number 4, I think this story gets a bit too much hatred. I would like to know what the genuine reasons are for this story getting as much dislike as it does. Personally, I think it could have been handled a bit better in the script and editing reason. Wise, a bit like how Paradise Towers could have been handled a little bit better script and execution wise. I mean, with that one, it was the how it was filmed, well, not filmed, how it was I suppose actually kind of filmed and edited. Whilst this one it was just edited, I suppose. But yeah, I think this one could have had a little bit more of a touch up. And this is the 25th anniversary story, Silver Nemesis. I actually did a post on the Whovians Amino about 2017-ish, with 25th anniversary stories broadcast on the 20th anniversary date, which include An Unearthly Child, Dragonfire, Silver Nemesis, and The Day of the Doctor, and I think there was one other. I have to check my app. And I have to suffice to say, this story is a much better 25th anniversary story than Dragonfire was a 24th. So I'll just put that out there. Silver Nemesis is it's a pretty good story. It's got some really good stuff. Admittedly, it does have similarities to Remembrance of the Daleks, as addressed in the review, and I think it could have been handled a little bit better in the script and editing-wise, especially as some edits kind of feel a bit disjointed. There was a little bit of an editing dink in Greatest Show of the Galaxy as well, but not as bad. Just a little bit. But I think maybe it was the fact that they were trying to get the 3 episodes down to 3 25-minute episodes, whilst they seem to have enough in almost 4 episodes. Which could have been interesting. We could have had a 4-parter. Maybe it would have been a bit too long. I think Silver Nemesis is actually really well paced for the most parts, and it's handled really well. And the Cybermen costumes these types of Cybermen costumes are possibly at their best because of the shininess, and some alterations to the costume do try and hide the fact that it's different pieces of costumes, and it's trying to be more like one-piece costumes like the new series ones, as opposed to multiple pieces of costumes, because the Cybermen costumes of the classic series, they are mostly men in silver jumpsuits with attachments. The original 1966 10th Planet ones are probably the odd ones out, because they try to look a bit more like a partially humanoid, and then they try to go a bit more robotic with the rest of them, and they start to look like men in silver jumpsuits with some gloves and boots and stuff, and it looks a bit awkward in places. And whilst newer Cybermen may look more like stereotypical robots, they at least look a bit more scary, and you could take them a bit more seriously. But like I said when I was talking about Attack of the Cybermen, what they make up for with the lack of convincing costume, they might make up for with brute strength, and they also have some pretty cool personalities. I like how the Cybermen leader winches at the idea of gold, and another Cyberman has some sort of whatever we use for radiation. He has one of those detects gold, and when he detects, it's like, no. Despite not supposing to show personality, the Cybermen do have quite a bit of it, and 80 Cybermen do, and it's quite funny. So they're forgiven. So on the whole, Silver Nemesis, I think it's a good story. Number 3 has a fantastic concept, and I think its execution paid off brilliantly. The Happiness Patrol. Yeah, I thought this one was a really well done story. I think it was really well handled. I think this story could have been a 10 out of 10, but there is one thing that stops it from being a 10, and that is the Candyman. Now, I don't have a problem with the Candyman. I don't have a problem with his design. The only thing I kind of have an issue is that he's not scary. He's creepy, but he's not scary. I think they should have changed. I think they should have gotten an actor who could play scary. I think they should have made him more of a scary character than what he actually is. And then the silly design, because it is a silly design, but it would work really well if the character was a bit more scary, a bit more creepy, because you'd be tricked into thinking, oh, he actually looks like a nice guy, and then, oh my god, he's frightening as heck. But unfortunately, he just sounds a bit too soft in the role. And the scariest he can get is shouting. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the actor they got was right, or the direction they gave him was right. I think they should have gotten someone who was a lot scarier and gone down a bit more of a scarier route. I think Big Finish did or are doing that with him. But I think they should have done it here. Apart from that, I think the rest, like I said, I don't have an issue with his design so much, unless if they can make it even scarier, that'd be cool. I definitely don't have an issue with the concept of the character or the character himself. I just think he should have been scarier. Everything else, I think, is handled really well, and I think it lives up to the concept and is handled brilliantly. Sheila Hancock is amazing as the villainess, Helen A, and we also have some other great side characters, on both sides, who are really fun and really entertaining. So yeah, I like the Happiness Patrol. Number two is a popular one amongst the fandom. Maybe, I don't know how popular amongst the McCoy fans, as a book written in 2015 said it was. They didn't seem to enjoy it as much, but most fans did. I'm not sure how true that is, but I can safely say this is definitely a popular one amongst the fan base as a whole. It is the greatest show in the galaxy. Yep, this is a really good story, a really interesting mystery that has to be solved. And like Happiness Patrol, I think they get everything resolved by the very end. And also sees Sylvester McCoy at his peak, both in the dark, serious manner, but also providing some light, fun entertainment as well. And he's really cool and really enjoyable. Sophie Aldred is also great as Ace. She's been Ace. She's been acing Ace all season. And I like that they go a little bit more into her personality here with the creepy clowns. Something that they'll develop a little bit more next season. As well as also a little bit in Happiness Patrol. And also the Chief Clown, he's a creepy villain. And the Gods of Ragnarok are actually quite interesting. Although how they get so impatient at the start of Part 4, despite having to endure lots of waiting in the other previous two episodes. Questionable, but maybe the Doctor did something that got them very hungry. Hungry, as the Wire, or the Great Architect from last season would say. The Wire from season 28, series 2. But yeah, I think it's a great story. It's some really great stuff. Max is a great character, and fans of her character will be glad to know that Big Finish have made her a companion of the 7th Doctor in 3 audios from earlier this year. One of them does feature Ace as well. And I think, yeah, actually, and I think, yes, she would be good companion material. It's just a surprise it took them just over 30 years to actually make those stories with her. Okay, and also the Psychic Circus will be making a return to Big Finish in a prequel story with the Seventh Doctor and the First Master next year. So fans of this story, be on the lookout for that. I think it's coming in May. I might be wrong. Yeah, and I think it will be the First Master, the Big Finish's first Master, played by James DeFees. I think it's his first main range story, his first monthly range story that he's in. I think he's just been in the First Doctor Adventures and the Companion Chronicles, I think. Yeah, Companion Chronicles with the Second Doctor. Those ones might be coming up as well. And someone started doing some some gardening or chainsawing outside. Sorry. But yeah, anyway, so Greatest Show in the Galaxy. Oh, now it stopped. Greatest Show in the Galaxy, really, really great. And it starts up again. Number one, and you would have to do that when I'm talking about my number one spot of my favourite season of the classic series. Number one is, of course, as I've mentioned, my favourite story of the classic series and my second favourite story of all time, Remembrance of the Daleks. What can I physically say that I haven't already said? I think there were some things I forgot to say. Then I've forgotten again. Shut up! Thank you. Remembrance of the Daleks is the Citizen Kane of Doctor Who. It is a masterpiece. It is fantastic. Fantastic plot, fantastic direction, fantastic characters. Actors do a fantastic job playing those characters. And the Daleks are at their best in the classic series. Apart from the voices, I actually don't really... not really a fan of the voices in this story. I still think the best Dalek voices of the classic series were Genesis of the Daleks. Although it's nice to see John Leeson having a bash at the Dalek voices here, and they are better than Revelation of the Daleks is, and maybe even Resurrections as well. So it's a step up from Revelation. And also the next time we'll hear the Daleks will be the TV movie, so step up from that as well. Just the Fatal Death isn't really canon, but I think Roy Skelton does one last Dalek voice there, and I think he does a really good job there. And then the next proper Dalek story will be 2005's Dalek, and what a return of the characters we'll see then. But in the meantime, they have their final story here of the classic series, and they go off with a bang. That's the Stavros, and he'll be back 20 years later, of course, in Stolen Earth Journey's End. But in the meantime, he has a really great final story of the classic series here, and Terry Malloy gives one last brilliant performance as Davros. I think it's safe to assume that despite Michael Wisher being probably considered the best Davros, I think Terry Malloy is the definitive Davros. Yes, I think Terry Malloy is the definitive Davros due to having 3 on-screen stories and several Big Finish audios. I don't think any other Davros actor has done Big Finish yet. Julian Beach might in the future if they do some new series Davros stories, but certainly only Terry Malloy has done them at the moment. So, yeah, I think Terry Malloy is the definitive Davros. Even if Michael Wisher is generally considered the best, I think Terry Malloy is the definitive version. I think both of them are the top 2, although I do love Julian Beaches as well. Would like him to come back again. Thankfully he did for Series 9. Anyway, so, yeah, Remembrance of the Daleks is awesome and really enjoyable, really entertaining, lots of great stuff, and just absolutely amazing. Fantastic way for the season to start. Fantastic way for the 25th anniversary year to start. Or continue. Would have been a great anniversary present, but Silver Nemesis had to go at the anniversary date, so this one, and J&T wanted this one first. So, yeah, but to be fair, it is an amazing start to the season. And you get a nice little pre-title sequence, just like Time in the Rani. Logopolis kind of was technically the first one to do this, but it was a recap of the regeneration. Sorry, not Logopolis, Castrovalva, but it recapped Logopolis regeneration scene. And Five Doctors also did one, but was a clip from Dalek Invasion of Earth. So, Time in the Rani and Remembrance of the Daleks are the first specially filmed pre-title scenes stories. And of course, also now with the BBC Studios animated or reanimated stories, they're now including post-title scenes, pre-title scenes with the regeneration of the Second Doctor and Power of the Daleks. a recap from the moon base at the start of the Macro Terror, and I'm not sure what they'll do with the Faceless ones. It's probably just best if they go straight into the story without a pre-title scene. I think it's just better if they go straight into the story, especially as we're animating a episode that, 2 episodes that already survive in the first episode is one of those two. But anyway, and Charter, the first scene is moved to the start of that story. And makes sense because that's they then do the rest of it as kind of a movie, an omnibus edition version of the story. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, so yeah, Remembrance of the Daleks, awesome. I fucking love this story. Okay, so that's my ranking of Doctor Who Season 25. I'll just recap the list. Number 4 is Silver Nemesis. Number 3 is The Happiness Patrol. Number 2 is The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And number 1 is Remembrance of the Daleks, or Remembrance of the fucking awesome Daleks. That's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for Season 26, the final classic series of Doctor Who, and also the final Sylvester McCoy 7th Doctor series. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. The Five Doctors. Well, actually, that doesn't broadcast on the 20th anniversary date. Is it on the 25th? Well, actually, that doesn't broadcast on the 23rd of November in the UK. I think it did in Australia. But especially considering the more the scarier designs of But like I said in Earthshock and Attack of the Cybermen, what they make up from... But like I said in Attack of the Cybermen, the only thing that's kind of... You stop doing it. Yeah, Max is a great character, and you'll be glad to know, and I even... it's the final classic season of classic Doctor Who. The final Doctor...